One night in Los Angeles in 1969, Linda Ronstadt was playing with Bernie Ledden, filming an episode of the variety show Playboy After Dark. Bernie had some time off from the Flying Burrito Brothers and would often play with Linda's band during his downtime. While they were both living in Topanga Canyon, they would hang out and hone their craft while playing Merle Haggard, George Jones, and Tammy Wynette songs. After filming the episode, Linda and Bernie head over to the Troubadour to see what was happening. They run into Graham Parsons, Bernie's burrito bandmate. Graham was staying at Chateau Marmont and invited them over to play some music. So they all three leave together with Bernie driving, but instead of taking them to the hotel, Graham begins directing Bernie through the Hollywood Hills, where they end up driving up a winding road until they arrive at a large modern house. When they get inside, Graham introduces them to Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Mick and Keith are renting the house while they finish their album Let It Bleed. They are working out last-minute changes to their blues opera Midnight Rambler, a story about the 60s Boston Strangler.
Did you hear about the Midnight Rambler? Everybody got to go.
And Country Honk, the country version of Honky Tonk Women. Graham is showing Keith some old country songs, giving him inspiration to work with. Before long, they all find themselves with guitars and a harmonica playing and singing all the Merle Haggard songs they know. Graham sang lead while Linda and Bernie sang harmony. Keith is focusing on all the nuances that Graham was pointing out to him in each song. After several hours, Bernie announces he is exhausted and is heading home and offers to drop Linda off along the way. But Graham is just getting going and begs Linda to stay and play some more songs with him. He wants her to sing the Tammy Wynette part of some George Jones duets. Linda's tired and wants to leave, but is excited about being able to play some more songs with everyone. Graham offers to drive her home since she had recently moved near his residence at Chateau Marmont, so she gives in and agrees to stay for a little while longer. After their George Jones, Tammy Wynette duos, Keith says he has a new song he wants to show them. He begins strumming to a slower song as Mick sings the song. Linda and Graham sit there spellbound, listening to the staggering, beautiful song that would soon be called Wild Horses.
Childhood living is easy.
Once they are finished playing, Linda and Graham are gushing over the song when Graham suddenly begins begging them to allow him to record it. Linda is stunned at the brazen request, as it is highly unusual for writers to allow their songs to be recorded by another artist before they have a chance to record it themselves. They go back and forth as Graham begs, "Please, the song was meant for the burritos. We could make this a country standard." Mick shakes his head with a grin. "Not on this one, Graham. This one stays with us." Keith chuckles. "Sorry, mate. Nice try, though." They went around and around for a long while. Linda loved the song as well and secretly wished they would let her record it, though she didn't dare ask. She thought she could bring something beautiful to the song from her own perspective. Soon Linda looks at the clock and is surprised to see it's already 5 a.m. So she says to Graham, "Hey, can you give me a ride home now?" He responds, "You see, dearie, I only have my motorcycle up here and I'd have to give you a ride on it." By this time, he's been smoking a lot and disappearing into the bathroom for periods of time. She was absolutely not getting on the back of a motorcycle with Graham in this condition. About 6 a.m., they head to the kitchen to make something to eat. Graham jumps up on the counter and begins singing unintelligibly, swaying back and forth, making everyone nervous he was going to fall off and hurt himself. Linda describes him as being in such a state, a way that she's never seen anyone. He's moving in circles on the kitchen counter and acting erratically. Linda and Keith coerce him down finally off the counter and hold on to him while he can barely stand as they drag him to the couch. He mutters something about a blinky, which no one understands, so Linda covers him up with a blanket. He soon passes out. Keith is slurring his words and says that he's also ready to go to bed. He lays down not too far away from Graham and falls asleep. By this point, Mick has already disappeared into his quarters. Linda's left alone sitting in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills with Graham Parsons, Mick Jagger, and Keith Richards all passed out, while she is left to figure out how she can get home. By this time, her heavy makeup from the Playboy at Night episode is itching and her eyes are bloodshot from all the long smoke-filled night. She's still in her clothes from the show and is racking her brain trying to think of who she can call this early in the morning to come get her. She decides to wait until her manager Herb's office opens, which won't be for another couple of hours, so she can call someone to come and get her. As she sits alone in the early morning hours contemplating the night, she remembers another night a few months back when she found herself alone like this, waiting for Herb's office to open. It was right before she was set to appear to perform her new song, Long, Long Time, on the Johnny Cash show in Nashville.
Take things in stride. Sounds like good advice, but there's no one there.
The night before, she was hanging out with friends and songwriters for the show at the Ramada Inn, including a then unknown Chris Christopherson, playing music late into the night. She heads back to her room, and when she gets there, the phone is ringing off the hook. She picks it up. It's one of the producers from the show she met briefly the day before. He says he needs to come over to go over some things with her before the following day's performance. Since she didn't know him, she said no and hung up. He called right back and said it was very important, or else her part might get cut. She finally agreed, thinking maybe she had jumped to conclusions. When he came over, she soon found out her instincts were right. As soon as he closed the door, he fully undressed until he was standing completely naked right in front of her. Terrified, she headed for the door. He acted surprised and said, "What's wrong? Aren't you one of those free love hippies?" "No," she responded, mortified. "I thought you California girls believed in all that free love stuff." She told him she was leaving and sharply warned him he'd better be gone by the time she got back. He then propositioned her, saying that he could help her make it in the television industry. She rolled her eyes and started to open the door. He then threatens her, "If you tell anyone, they won't believe you. No one believes a girl that looks like you. No shoes, no bra, jeans, big hair." He goes on to say he could make her life hell. She ran out of the room and down to the lobby of the Ramada, where she sat alone, scared, and waited for hours for her manager Herb's LA office to open so she could call someone to help her. Once Herb hears what happened, he's infuriated, but advises her to keep it quiet and not stir up any trouble until the show's over so her part doesn't get cut. She didn't know what else to do and reluctantly agrees. Later that morning at the read-through, that producer announced loudly so everyone could hear, clearly intending to humiliate and discredit her with a wink and a nod. "Hey Linda, I left my watch in your room last night. Can you get it for me later, sweetheart?" She later found out that he was soon to be married. She felt disgust and pity all at the same time.
Rock and roll culture seems to be dominated by hostility against women. What happens is that they lose the ability to focus on themselves as a person rather than as an image, you know?
Suddenly, she hears a knock at the door when she realizes Herb's assistant must be there to pick her up. She quietly tiptoes past Graham and Keith and made her way outside, relieved to finally be going home so she could climb into her flannel pajamas and get some much-needed sleep. One thing she knew for sure was that she was never again going to end up pulling an all-nighter without a sober ride home. A couple of months later, Linda caught wind that the Burrito Brothers had recorded a song written by the Rolling Stones. She knew which song it must have been and was surprised they gave in and agreed to allow Graham to record it before them. They must have felt a debt of gratitude for all the help he provided in teaching them about country music. She always got a smile when she heard the Burritos' dreamy, twang-filled version.
The things you wanted.
Soon after that, the Rolling Stones album Let It Bleed was released, and she got to hear the final versions of the songs they were working on that night. Let It Bleed's opening slide piece, combined with the raw, uninhibited lyrics, had a twangy feel that felt influenced by Graham.
And if you want it, well, you can lean on me.
But the album's clincher was Give Me Shelter, which was all Rolling Stones. Richards later revealed that the tension of the song was inspired by his jealousy of seeing the relationship between his girlfriend Anita Pallenberg and Jagger, and his suspicions of an affair between them while filming Performance. Of the haunting lyrics, he said, "I'd been sitting by the window of my friend Robert Fraser's apartment on Mount Street in London with an acoustic guitar when suddenly the sky went completely black and an incredible monsoon came down. It was just people running about looking for shelter. That was the germ of the idea. We went further into it until it became, and murder are just a shot away."
If I don't get some shelter, yeah, I'm gonna play the bird.
Then the following year, the Rolling Stones released their more polished version of Wild Horses for their 1971 album Sticky Fingers, giving it a restrained, reflective feel rather than a personal confession like Graham's version. In the liner notes to the 1993 compilation album Jump Back, Mick states, "I remember we sat around originally doing this with Graham Parsons. I think his version came out slightly before ours. Everyone always says that this was written about Mary Ann, but I don't think it was. That was all well over by then, but I was definitely very inside this piece emotionally." He said, "Wild Horses was about the usual thing of not wanting to be on the road, being a million miles from where you really want to be.
Graceless lady, you know how I am."
While Linda would have liked to record the song with her own interpretation, she would have to keep her ears open for other songs with that mesmerizing quality. While she didn't know it for certain at the time, she was about to discover some songs and players that would soon take California country rock and Linda Ronstadt to the masses.
Day